Yeah, buddy. Welcome to today's video. We're doing a reaction. Oh, so many reactions. The Jewish world and the world at large is devastated by the unfortunate and honestly traumatizing, horrifying passing away of Charlie Kirk. Meaningful Minute is a very good dear friend to me. Shout out Nissan and Naomi and all the good people over there, and Nachi Gordon, a bunch of big tzaddikim, Baruch Hashem. They made a very interesting video where they sent the Orthodox rabbi to Utah, to the site where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, to take some questions from the public. So I'm going to do a reaction. I'm going to give some of my thoughts, and we're going to get straight to it.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations. What is so important to our country is to find our disagreements respectfully.
We sent Rabbi to Utah Valley University, the campus where Charlie Kirk was unfortunately killed. Students sat across from him and asked whatever was on their mind. An Orthodox rabbi face-to-face with a college campus searching for answers. This is Ask Me Anything, only on Meaningful People podcast.
When people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
That's what we need, two redheads.
When people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
Two redheads on camera at once. How are you?
Hello,
I'm Rabbi
Rabbi.
Schaff.
When I used to go to the synagogue with my friends, you know, the first time the rabbi found out I wasn't Jewish, because I led with my name Mendelssohn because I wanted to get in the door. But the second he found out I wasn't Jewish, he labeled me a goyim. Called me a goy.
A goy is not an insulting word.
That's a slur.
It's not.
I know it is.
It's not.
And they call us that all the time,
It's
and I know.
not. A goy means a
and
Gentile.
so the thing is,
A goy means
I
a
know there
Gentile.
are things that Israel isn't
doesn't.
telling us.
Goy does not. It's not a slur.
It's used like a slur by the
Not
people that
by
use
Jews,
it against
not
me.
by Orthodox Jews. If they said to you, "What is this goy doing here?" It's the same thing as saying, "What is this Gentile doing here?" So it could be that they were being rude and not welcoming, which is heartbreaking.
They call us goyim.
Goy is not an insult. It's plural for goy.
So, I mean,
I'm telling you,
with
it's
all
not.
due respect, a Jewish person telling me that I haven't been wronged by being called a
No,
slur.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you haven't been mistreated. I'm telling you that word, because I will use that word.
Please
right?
don't.
No, it's in Tanakh, and it says God loves the goyim, and you'll be when you know, light unto the nations is or la goyim. That's what it means. That's the word. A light to the nations, when it's translated, is or la goyim. That word from the Torah through the Talmud and elsewhere is never a slur. It's not what we use as a slur.
It's been used as a slur against me.
I'm really sorry.
And so I would discourage the use of that word, actually.
No, it's Tanakh.
If you want to call us Gentiles, call us Gentiles.
I wouldn't. I just need you to know that if you will hear me giving a share and say, what is a goy allowed to do? What is a Jew? What are the 7 mitzvahs for goyim? Right? That is how we talk when we're talking with the greatest of respect. Right? A righteous among the goyim, right, is someone that we would call Charlie Kirk. That's how we would talk. So I don't mean.
Are you aware of Charlie Kirk? Before he died, he started speaking out against AIPAC. He started speaking out against the genocide in
I'm
Gaza.
not familiar.
I don't know, but I feel like this guy is just a little lacking in a certain emotional maturity and just honestly just trying to stir an argument, because the rabbi told him 3, 4, 5 times, like, it's not a slur. I'm not coming to offend you. The word goyim, like, we're also Jews. You can also call us goyim. Goyim literally translates to the word nations. It's just referring to the nations of the world. And we say the word goy to refer to a Gentile, but it's not a slur. It's not a diss. It's just literally, you can Google it. That's the translation. You can say it in a different language too. It's not an insult. It just literally means nations of the world. It happens to be the Jewish nation is referred to Israel, to the nation of Israel, and there's no offense here. And if I was the rabbi, I would literally call him out on that and be like, listen, I told you the same translation 5, 6 times. But I do understand the guy's point of view. Many times in the Jewish world, a very big topic is religious trauma and getting the wrong idea of the religion from the representative of the religion. If someone is going to call himself a rabbi, he has to study many years in order to achieve that title. You also have to be very good with people. You have to be very careful with your midot, with your character traits, because you can many times turn off people because you're not representing the religion properly. And that's why I'll always say in my speeches, go straight to Hashem, go straight to the source, because sometimes people can misrepresent the religion. However, the rabbi is doing a very good job, better job than I would do at being very patient. So let's keep watching.
Familiar. I know that he had different views on things. I believe him to be an honest person.
He was threatened by Bill Ackman and Benjamin Netanyahu.
I did not know that.
Okay, because this is circulating right now. It's just stuff that we're finding out.
I don't know if any of this is
I'm
true.
going to say this.
There's a lot of
my
conspiracy
fundamental
stuff out there.
belief about the Middle East, and specifically the
False. Conspiracy is not factual. Continue.
Israeli people, is I want you guys to be safe, but I want the Palestinians to be safe too. And I know that they're not the ones hurting you anymore. They're diffused. End the war.
Surrender.
This video is supposed to be about Charlie Kirk. I don't know why this guy is bringing up the whole Israel-Palestine conflict with some massive conspiracy theory that Israel was the one that did it. That is absolute nonsense. The one person who defended Israel and stood up for Israel and the Jewish people, Charlie Kirk, why would Israel take him out? If anything, they have more motive to keep him alive and keep him safe and to protect him. Also, to talk about the Israel-Palestine conflict for a second, the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. You can open up Torah, you can open up the Quran, you can open up the Bible. They're all admit to you that whoever blesses the Jews will be blessed, and the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. Also, it's like the size of New York. Like, what does the rest of the world want from us? Like, let us have our little land for the Jewish people. The Arabs have like 20-something countries. Christianity is worldwide. Like, we have a little piece of land. And also, like, you know, if you think about it just practically for a second, if you're opening up a government, right? Israel gave the Gaza, by the way, your thing stopped recording. Israel gave Gaza to the Arabs. Now, if the Arabs were smart about this piece of land, they would have taken that land. They would have made a government. They would have made it like Dubai, like a tourist location, a place to go. A tourist location, a place to go and a place to visit and a place to see and to go to the beaches of Gaza and the city of Gaza and to visit it. But instead they took that land. Hamas occupied it. They used human shields, right? They hid everything under hospitals, and all they did was just try to make us look bad. When we're trying, Israel sends out alerts, they send out sirens, warnings, like no one's trying to kill anybody. It's very simple. Like, Hamas just needs to surrender and this whole thing will be over. They came, they attacked us. October 7th was one of the worst days in history. And this idea, like, I was in Israel like a month ago, not even 3 weeks ago. If you go to Israel and you sit there and you experience one of the sirens, and like it's scary. And there are, I think, a couple million, 8-9 million people living in Israel that have to live like this, to live constantly in fear. Every single structure, by law, has to have a bomb shelter. Can you imagine raising a family that way? We talk about stresses, money, etc. You're living in a constant risk of your life in Israel. Obviously, throughout the world, even walking in the street and not getting hit by a car is a miracle. The fact that your kids come home from school every day on a bus is a miracle. But just to think about it for a second, it's like the fact that the whole world is against us. They're not even using their common sense. Like, go to Israel and go see what it's like and go see what the life is like there, and you're gonna feel the burden. We're being targeted for no good reason.
But
Just surrender.
terror attack like a week ago in Jerusalem, 4 Jewish people got killed.
Because you're killing hundreds of thousands of them.
Because
Just surrender. That's what you do in war
So,
when you're losing.
I think that-
Surrender. Don't ask for a ceasefire, which means we should
declare
stop
peace.
firing.
Just end the conflict.
Say, we surrender. We're stopping. We're done.
If
White flag.
Well,
And
I
then we
mean,
feed your kids and we
the
do everything.
Palestinian Authority was meeting in Qatar with Qatari officials, which is a neutral nation.
They're
And
hiding out there
Israel
and-
bombed the peace accords that were being held
It is
there. That doesn't show me a country that's willing to negotiate peace. That shows me a country that wants to keep going.
In 2 years, these people have not. We don't want you to come with a proposal. We're not listening to proposals. Get off my lawn and stop trying to kill my kids, or I'm shooting you.
It's
That's
their
it.
lawn.
No,
Gaza's theirs.
They're in Gaza. We're not asking them to leave Gaza.
The much of the Israeli
we're not asking. We
government's
gave them
trying.
Gaza unilaterally, 2005. That happened.
Benjamin Netanyahu has floated
Disengagement,
the idea.
hitnakut. We gave it to them.
Benjamin Netanyahu has floated, and other ministers in the government right now, which is highly unpopular among Israelis. They have floated the idea of completely occupying and deporting the population of Gaza. This rhetoric is stuff the Palestinians are hearing too. They're going to be ethnically genocided from their region. They're going to be removed. They'll never exist. It's the same thing that
Or
happened to
you
your
could
people.
just surrender. Stop doing this.
So why is your side? And it's not you. It's definitely not you.
It's not me specifically, but I
But the
fully
Israeli
support the
government
action.
is
So I
doing
don't mind
that.
if you say me.
I won't say that about you.
I understand, but I do support it.
You are
I
nothing
think
but a
it's
man
ethical.
with love in your heart, and I can
Thank
see
you,
that.
and I feel the same way from you. I think
just
it's
don't
really
want
mutual.
human beings to suffer, and I don't care as many times as representatives from Israel come to me and tell me that this is how it is. It's like, if I look at the other side, it's showing me a fundamentally different picture.
I'll tell you this. and I'll just finish with this because I think I think we've gotten as far as we can. That I really respect that you're coming from a good place and that you're motivated by your religious and moral ethical values, and you want a peaceful world and you want people not to suffer. I acknowledge that with a lot of respect. I also think you may be believing a lot of things online. People do lie on the internet, and people do present false things.
And governments lie a lot.
That's true. And I think you probably think the same about me, that the narrative that we have is based on false facts, but I do think that as well. And I think the only place to go forward is at least to trust that people on both sides of the subject, if we would both be coming from places where what we really want is a lack of human suffering and peace and dignity for everybody, that I think this could be solved. And I don't think it can be solved otherwise. My hope is that at least this conversation is a model for people, that like we can look at each other and say, I admire you and I respect you.
We've disagreed so heavily here, but I'm so thankful you were here.
Yes,
I loved this conversation.
I think that people like us feel respected when somebody is willing to give a stress test and give a hard question.
Yeah, I still don't see where's the comments about Charlie Kirk and about the assassination and everything. That's kind of what I wanted to see. The rabbi is doing a phenomenal job, though, at taking these questions and answering them with a lot of respect, a lot of class, a lot of dignity. But then again, it just hurts to see that it's another time where you just see where people can see a religious Orthodox Jew and come with all the complaints, with all the questions, with all the just trying to like make it look bad. And that's just how it's been. So let's skip to the next interaction.
Who else wants to talk? Hello, my friends.
Who wants to talk?
You look like a friendly person. You are. I'm Rabbi Schaff. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm not.
What's your name, my friend?
Elijah. Sorry.
Elijah. It's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
You should bring peace to the world like he will.
Yeah. I am leaning towards pro-Israel on the whole Israel Palestine. I'm sure that's what most of your conversations are
It's
about.
interesting. They're about everything in the world.
Really?
People want to talk about theology and they want to talk about Christianity and Judaism. People sometimes just want to talk about life or...
Yeah, I was curious about just your perspective. I mean, there's obviously not a lot of Jewish people. I haven't seen very many yarmulkes on campus, so it's a lot. It's interesting to see somebody. I was curious, how does like the rise of anti-Semitism in America, all over the world, but especially in America, affect your like day-to-day life?
That's a really insightful and it's a thoughtful human question, because no one has ever asked me that before. Isn't that something? No one has ever asked me that. So thank you. I would say this, how it's affecting many Jews, they can't believe it. They're proud Americans. They're a member of one political party or another, but they feel like, what's the difference? They believe their brother's as red as anyone else, but not redder. And they can't believe that suddenly so many people in the world seem to think that Jews should be held to a different standard. Their blood is less red. If they just can't believe it, and they know, they're very heartbroken. Many people are saying, I wonder if there's a future for us in America. People are saying, in Germany, Jews lived for 900 years, and then they were neighbors, they were part of the community, and then they were suddenly cast as the devil, and people say, like, maybe this is the beginning of what it felt like in Germany. At what point do we decide to just leave the country? But like, I grew up singing, God bless America, this land is your land. I'm patriotic. We flew the American flag every like, I love this country. I think it's one of the most brilliant human experiments based on the Bible, based on Judeo-Christian values. The idea that I have to start thinking, at what point, if they break all the Jewish windows of businesses, they came outside a synagogue that I'm affiliated with, not my synagogue, but there's one that I study in every morning. I go and I study with a friend who's also a rabbi, and they came outside and it was happening in LA. They were beating up Jews in the street, and it was a protest, Palestine, whatever it was, but it was petrifying. And the question is, people are scared, so just that there are beautiful humans like...
Yeah, so the rabbi is giving a very interesting take about this. I would actually completely not, I wouldn't say disagree, but I would completely give a different reaction. What I would say if someone asked me that question is I would say it's our fault. Anyone who studies Torah thoroughly knows that everything that's happening in the world against Jews or whatever it is because of the Jewish people. It's really, it really more so is a reflective mirror saying that Jewish people, if you're watching this, we have to start making repentance. The rabbi said earlier in the video that we have to be Or Lagoim, we have to be a light to all nations, right? And when we're not doing our proper responsibility, as kind of the big brother, you can say, the rest of the world, the anti-Semitism is not happening from the people. It's more so a stick that God is using to hit us. That's why it's not fair to point fingers. It's not your boss. It's not the matchmaker. It's not the doctor. It's not the bank. It's not the people that are attacking us. It's us. Lack of observance of the Shabbat, the Sabbath, lack of tons of intermarriage going on, lack of guarding our eyes, lack of not just from immodesty, but from things that are not ours. Really, really, we have to go back to the basics. We have to go back to respecting one another, not speaking bad about the other person, because all these things that are happening in the world is because of us. Constant media consumption. That's why I made this YouTube channel, because to speak about the real truth, God's truth, not to just. It's a beautiful, heartfelt response, and I respect the rabbi, and I respect what he's saying, but I don't think it's the honest answer. I think the real answer is that it's because of us, it's because of our actions, it's because of what we're doing, and there's so many sources in the Torah for this, that when the Jewish people are not acting the way they're supposed to act, the world's going to retaliate against us, and we're going to be hated, and we're going to be. It's not a surprise that history is repeating itself. It's not a surprise. It's also prophesized in the Talmud, in the Gemara, many places, that kids will disrespect their parents, that men are going to want to be women, and vice versa. Like, all these things are happening nowadays. But it's what's happening now has never happened before in human history. And it's not a surprise that these things are happening. It's more so a wake-up call from God. Like, how many more smacks do we have to get? It's really, we have to make tshuva. So that's my answer. Let's go to the next reaction.
I've had people tell me yes and no, and I just want to hear it from somebody.
Sure.
I was wondering if, I'm going to cry, sorry, if animals go to heaven by chance.
Such an interesting question. Are you a big animal lover?
Yes, my cat died a couple days ago.
I'm so sorry.
Literally like 2 days after the shooting happened, and I was
Wow.
I was just kind of wondering
So
what.
the first thing I want to tell you about that is that it can be a very powerful thing. People that don't have animals don't always understand what an intense connection to. It really depends what a person understands heaven to be. Because from the Jewish conception, it's a person earns or doesn't earn a relationship with God. In other words, the way that I've been taught to understand it, and I've seen in the sources, is that we talk about people being in the image of God, which means that there is divinity that's latent in every person. And that's where our sense of compassion and love and therefore a human being who lives a meaningful life and does the right things becomes more and more like God through doing that. And that's the relationship eternally that they will have. Animals don't quite have the same opportunity. However, since they were created by God for a purpose, they always achieve that purpose.
Beautiful way of saying no. Very beautiful answer. Yeah, obviously there is not really such a thing of an animal heaven. It's heartbreaking that this lady lost her cat and she's just trying to come and get console for it. There is an idea that we can get reincarnated into animals and hopefully achieve our purpose. Interestingly enough, my grandmother in Israel, she has this cat that always goes to her house every Friday night on Shabbat. And one time they actually took the cat, they brought it to like a different city in Israel. And 2 days later, the cat ended up back there, like a 45-minute drive, which is crazy. So that's a very interesting idea. My heart goes out to your cat. May the cat and Charlie Kirk rest in peace.
They don't earn it or not.
Let's go to the next reaction. I want to hear something about Charlie Kirk.
Hi. Come on over. I will be so excited to talk to you. I'm Rabbi Schaff. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Nice to meet you.
I would love to talk to this rabbi, by the way. I think we could have a cool debate, but let's continue.
My name's Esperanza.
It's good to meet you. Esperanza means hope.
Yes, it does.
The reason I didn't shake your hand
It's okay.
is because
That's
in
what
our
we wanted.
religion, men and women who are not family or married to each other avoid affectionate physical contact. On the other hand, I generally will shake hands if I think it's going to really hurt someone's feelings. So I just want to compliment you that I got a very, very open.
I don't agree. You can't compromise Torah values to not hurt someone's feelings. If anything, a person has to have respect for their boundaries and respect for what they believe in. And if you tell someone that you don't want to shake their hands because it's just simply, I mean, you don't even have to say it's a spiritual Jewish reason. You know, it's more so I just don't shake women's hands. And if that woman gets offended, that's her problem to deal with. But you have to live with the truth. That's a big no. I'm sorry.
friendly, kind vibe from you. And so I felt like I could probably explain it to you and you wouldn't think that I was trying to be rude or something.
Coming from Mormon.
That's a typical example of trying to appease someone. We're not supposed to appease. We're supposed to live with our, Torah. And if someone accepts it or doesn't accept it, it's up to them. That is a critical philosophy right there. You cannot live on other people's terms. You have to live on your terms. Obviously, everyone's at their own level and their own pace. But if a woman puts out her hand to you and wants to shake your hand, you can politely say no. It's your body at the end of the day, and it's your choice. You don't have to shake people's hands, especially if it contradicts your values. So you cannot, no.
Feminism, we talk about something called ministering, like every single Sunday, like, go minister. And I'm wondering, like, does your religion try to support, like, the public in some way?
It's a good question. You'll notice around the country, on hospitals. I'm from Los Angeles, but this hospital is called Cedars-Sinai. Right, these are like biblical names, and Maimonides Hospital, and all over again and again and again. You look around and you'll find that the Jewish tradition is to be enormously community-centric. The tradition of tithing your money is not, we don't believe it's to the church. We believe it's to charity and good works. So it can also be to a synagogue. A person can, if they believe that's an important thing. But it's to the poor, it's to hospitals, it's to the needy, it's to any cause. That's our tradition, and it's very well practiced. So in other words, our attitude is that you're required to be what's called the Kiddush Hashem, in other words, to sanctify the name of God. If you're going to walk around like that, you have to, it's even small things. We have strong traditions that a person's face, I see you're good at this, a person's face is a public domain. That means, just like you wouldn't dig a pit in the middle of the street. So Rabbi Israel Salanter, one of the big Jewish thinkers, he would say, if you're not walking around smiling, you're digging a pit in everyone else's street. Because your face is public. Your inner feelings, you can be grumpy if you want. On your face, you have to smile at people. You have to be cheerful, and it can change the whole day. And that's something that struck me about you right away, as I told you at the beginning. Like, you're cheerful and you're warm, and that's something it's a Jewish value. It's in the Talmud. It says that you have an obligation to greet everybody with a pleasant face. So that's a Jewish value. So it may express itself differently. It's less, but I understand that that's really what's behind ministry, is that you're supposed to care about other human beings and want what's best for them. And I believe that's a value we share very much in common.
Watching this is hurting me. Where is the talking about like Charlie Kirk and what happened? This is just like people coming up and asking people questions about Judaism. Like, I don't know, you could ask ChatGPT. Where's the talk about what happened? This Rabbi is very nice. Don't get me wrong. He's a super nice guy. I want to hear about the assassination.
I think this video is not necessarily even about the assassination, because the title says Orthodox Rabbi takes questions at the site of Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's not necessarily them answering questions about Charlie Kirk. It's just,
Yeah, but I feel misled.
we didn't understand the title of the video.
We're still going to post, you can keep that in there. We're still going to post this video, but we were here to talk about like Charlie Kirk, God's hand in all this, like maybe some politics. Not really, I'm not a political person, but just finding the light and inspiration in things. And I just find myself very bothered right now, but whatever, let's keep going.
The fact that you traveled from Los Angeles, probably on very short notice, to here, honors.
Oh, here we go.
Charlie Kirk.
Here we go.
So thank you.
I like this guy.
Thank you for doing that.
And not just him. We want to
Thank you for talking about the topic.
Those who are grieving, who are here.
Yeah.
Because you should know that we're with you. I mean, this is not the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
It comes across that
There we
way.
go.
It is for me, and I'm sure it does for others as well.
Thank you, James.
I walked past there, and there was this guy up there. I think he identifies as a man. He had the nose piercings, he had the nose ring, had the studs and everything. And
I think he identifies as a man. What?
taking photos, and I just had this feeling to just ask him for his thoughts. So I did. I was like, "Hi, what are your thoughts?" And I loved how somber he was, respectful he was, and what he said was like, "I didn't like Charlie Kirk. I strongly disagreed with what he had to say, but that should not have happened. That should not have happened." He's like, "I condemn the violence." And so what he was doing, he got up.
Wrong. What does that mean that should not have happened? If it's a reality, it's an expression of God's will. As much as it hurts, this is what Hashem wanted. And that does not make God cruel. God is just deciding things upstairs and we don't understand what's happening. That's why we have to live with confidence and faith in God. Saying that should not have happened, it's a emotional response. It's a response out of trauma, out of failure to understand. But saying that shouldn't have happened is taking God's role. We're not God. We accept what happens because we're human beings. We don't decide things.
At like 6 a.m. to get out here on campus, and he had a big old nice camera, and he was taking a picture from the bridge view that he was trying to emulate the viewpoint of the sniper. He was taking a picture just up there, where this person went out of their way to wake up to honor Charlie, and he was taking a photo, and I was like, what are you trying to take a photo of? Like, what are you trying to do with it? And he's like, oh, I wanted to take a photo from the shooter's perspective and capture his perspective, but also capture the valleys and the beauty of everything that's in the background.
Very strange. Very strange.
And he wanted to make the point that the person who took that shot had everything to look at. There's a lot of beauty to look at, but all that person saw was his hate.
Did he just say beauty to look at?
True. And that's it.
Wow.
And I thought that was beautiful. And it's like, man, dude, keep doing what you're doing, because it was like, that was so beautiful and respectful. And I wasn't seeking.
Like, thank you for sharing that with us.
I'm very hopeful because of the small acts of goodness I'm seeing from people all around this campus. That, like, oh my gosh, the faculty that came yesterday, I earned so much respect. Or I earned so much respect. They earned respect. They earned so much respect for me. Thank you. And I feel so much more respect towards them for coming back to campus in the first place.
You know, it's so important to have this perspective that whatever happened yesterday, there are good choices today and bad choices today. And like what you're saying really resonates with me, that there's a way to bring goodness now. That doesn't mean it makes what happened less of a tragedy. It doesn't. And we need to focus on that too. We need to feel the tragedy. Absolutely. But we also need to know that there's good choices today. We're not just doomed.
Thank you for your time.
I enjoyed talking to you. Me too. I forget that.
What's the word I'm looking for? Is it disappointed? Is it confused? Is it like, what's going on? Very nice video. Not what I was expecting. I tremendous respect to the rabbi, to flying out to Utah, for taking all those questions, for answering them in the way that he answered them. What happened to Charlie Kirk was a tragedy, and let's not get confused about that. It was a tragedy. It was tragic. It was sad. It was more than assassination. It was just an act of cruelty and violence. And I think everybody's just a little bit confused. At the end of the day, he was a man with kids, with a family, and he was just going and speaking his opinion and doing his thing and doing literally what we're doing. And no one deserves to get killed for that. No one deserves to get shot for that. If anything, it only makes his voice stronger. It only makes his message more powerful. It only makes the impact more powerful. Because this is a man of the right, a man that stood for Israel, stood for Jews, stood for family values, stood for many, many, many positive things. And while, yes, he was a Christian and spoke many, many times about how he would want everyone to be Christian and to convert to Christianity and to find Yeshua and all that, that is not a Jewish thought at all. Completely not. And the same thing with Shabbat observance. Shabbat was given to the Jews, not to the rest of the nations. Shabbat was a gift from God. And as a matter of fact, while Christians and Muslims look for converts, Jews actually push them away. It's very hard to actually be a Jew and to do it the right way, and that's why we don't look for converts. For that, in that same sense, in that same idea, I love converts. I love all Jews, and all I'm trying to do is spread positivity, and do not take this in the wrong way. I've actually interviewed many converts, and in that same breath, it is tragic what happened. It is very unfortunate. I feel a little bit confused after watching this video. I don't understand the majority of the reactions. It honestly just seems like many people just have a certain resentment towards Jewish people, and they just get highly sensitive with Jewish people, around Jewish people. And all I can really say is that it could be it's our fault. Because like I said previously, our actions, our doings, it's very powerful in the world. You know, Rav Nachman writes in the end of days, which I think is now, when the curtain of history is clearly closing and people are going to do crazy things in the world, the best thing a person can do is learn Torah, read some Tehillim, connect to Hashem, talk to Him, and to pay less attention to all this. I'm very happy that the rabbi flew to Utah. At the same time, I'm a little bit upset that all the people were just using it as a, hey, this is another cool fact I heard about Jews on the internet. Can you clarify it for me moment? Like, something horrible happened to Charlie Kirk, and may Charlie Kirk rest in peace. My name is Jonathan Ben Shimol. I approve this message.